I'm not reading the speech because, again, it's hard to see, and I want to wing this one today. I want you to understand, I cannot find anyone in government who's willing to come on my radio shows to defend this policy. I offer them cash money, $1,200. I've been making that offer for 4 years. I've talked to everybody from the drug czar down through the governor's office, the state and federal reps and senators, the mayor's office, police chief, district attorney. Not one of them is willing to defend this policy because it is indefensible. There's no substance to it. Yes, our children get in trouble. Children get out of control. But for the most part, they do come back, given that love, given some time, given some respect, maybe given some treatment, but mostly a little time to grow up, maybe to drift away from that crowd that does that. But the situation, binging on meth, binging on heroin, binging on cocaine, it's mostly caused by the prohibition. Were these drugs legal, sitting on the shelf at a reasonable price, people would not binge so much. They wouldn't do that cocaine in a big hurry on a Friday and Saturday, knowing they might have to face a drug test come Monday morning. People who do these type drugs tend to avoid marijuana, the safest pharmaceutical agent known to man. So said Francis L. Young, DEA law judge. Because marijuana will stay in your system for 30 days. You can fail that drug test. You can lose your place in a college. You can lose your job if you do marijuana. I want to reach out. I guess what my real goal is to educate people to the truth of this matter, through that education, to embolden them, to encourage them to do something about this. December 17th, 1914 began the the drug war with the passage of the Harrison Narcotics Act. And 92 plus years, it's just gotten worse. Year after year, year after year. More politicians come along, want to look tough on crime, build a bigger law, 3 strikes, mandatory minimums. They're talking about building more prisons in Texas. We really don't need them. We have so many non-violent drug offenders right now in prison that if we were to cut them all loose, send them to treatment, heck, with the money we save from not sending them to prison, we could send all of them to college. But we choose to send them to some hellhole where there's abuse and sadism, education on true criminality. And when these people come out for this baggie of some plant product and they've spent their years behind bars, we expect them to then redeem themselves, have a good life, even though we'll prevent them from getting an education, credit, housing, a job, or even a driver's license. And somehow we've stopped their suffering by taking their car, taking their children, taking their house, their cash, their worldly goods. Somehow this is supposed to make them into better people. We have been duped. We have been fed a bag of lies for more than 9 decades. We're coming up on a century of this. The politicians all stand boldly proclaiming they're going to protect us, they're going to ensure a better future. Meantime, the drug war, the escalation is moving north. Columbia, 20 years ago, shootouts, blowing up the federal building, killing the federal judges, the Supreme Court, bombing the newspaper offices. Well, that's moving north. It's into Mexico now. They're doing the same thing. They're kidnapping the kidnapping officials. They're shooting police chiefs out of the saddle, time after time, till people no longer want to be police chiefs in these cities. They're bringing federal forces, Army, Marines, and federal police to these cities of Mexico. They're going to make a difference. They're going to, they promise, protect us. It's just getting worse. They're finding that they're now kidnapping teams of Army officials. They're kidnapping teams of police and dragging them out into the desert and shooting them. They chop off their heads and roll them across the dance floors in some resort. They put the heads on the city hall steps. They're sending a message that they're not going to back down. We have to understand, for the drug war to exist, it is necessary that we have ongoing death, disease, crime, and addiction. And if we stop and think about it, most of the death, disease, crime, and addiction associated with drugs comes not from drug use. People don't get high and go out and rob because they're high. People don't kill one another because they're high. The death, disease, crime, and addiction comes from prohibition. It ensures, like this situation with the needles exchange, that there will be more disease. The gangs will flourish. They will be able to afford their MAC-10s. The cartels will make billions this year. The terrorists in Afghanistan will make billions this year because of our policy. The addiction. Once again, we insist that they don't bring coca into this country. We insist that they don't bring opium into this country. No, we insist they refine it and put it into a small product that they can bring across the border more surreptitiously. And then what winds up on our streets is the more dangerous, amateur-crafted pharmaceuticals that kill. They kill more people because they don't know what's in the bag. It's some quantity of some quality. Here you go. And that's what kills our kids. We had a situation in Houston, I think it was about 3 years ago this summer. I think it was 14 young people, I think age 17 to early 30s, died one weekend. They all went to their local dealer, bought their bag of cocaine, took it home, snorted it, shot it up, and died during the night. Now, why did that happen? It's because the dealer, he's no chemist. He didn't know what his latest batch was. He was told it was cocaine. So he bagged it up into, I guess, gram bags or quarter grams, whatever they do, and sold it to his customers, and they took it home trusting that this was the same product they bought last week. Turns out, instead of it being cocaine, it was some 80% heroin. The exact opposite of what these youngsters thought they were buying. And they died. Same thing happens, maybe not at that level, that number every day, but it happens every day somewhere in America. Somebody's shooting up the wrong stuff, the wrong amount of the wrong stuff, and dies. Because that's how the government likes it.